that's right, guys. It's me, Surge Omicron, and today we're visiting our good friend, Claude Channa. He's the guy who discovered gold here in the Auburn ravine, which is right over there back in 1848. It's May 16th, you know, it's in the springtime. And in the springtime, they had a lot of rains that would happen, you know. And so one morning, he was a fruit rancher. One morning he was, walking along the creeks down there, and it was after a big storm, and a tree fell over, and the roots were all sticking up in the air. And you know what he found in there? That's right, you know what he found. He found gold nuggets stuck into the roots of those trees. And you know what he said? He said, holy smokes, I think is what he said, something like that, you know. Anyway, next thing you know, all the peoples were coming to Auburn to try to find the gold. And some of them did. Some of them found other kind of golds too. But the main thing was, that's how we got started here in Auburn. And my family's been here since, about that time. We were cowboys. Yeah, that's right. We raised cows, and we farmed the wheat and stuff like that. But that's how everybody got started back in those days. So let's go take some more looks around Auburn today, and we'll see whatever else we can find with Surge Omicron. I want to show you something here. Not everybody knows this, but right in front of the courthouse, yeah, that's the courthouse. You know what happens in there. Ha ha, you're gonna get into trouble. You're gonna find out. So right here, this is a horse fountain where the peoples used to come in when they were riding around in their horses and buggies and all that, and they would water their horses right here. In fact, look, there's even a little leftover thing right here where you used to you could put your horsey right here, like this. You put him right there, and then you would water the horses. Then you go into the courthouse and take care of your business. And that's what they would do down here at the courthouse, because this is the county seat of Placer County. This is where they had their first hangings. Yeah, the public hanging. Those were the good old days. Oh, I miss those days, you know. Now all I have is the COVID and the Corona and all those kind of things. But those guys know how to take care of business. And also they had that famous flu. We're gonna check into all those kind of cool things as we're visiting around here in what we like to call the gold country. Because this is where they discovered gold back in, Sutter's Fort, Sutter's Mill, up there in Coloma. Anyway, let's get back to looking for cool stuff around now. So here we go. We're back on camera now. And it's just me and Surge and the freeway. And of course, we're gonna look at some other things that are down here around in Auburn, like the courthouse and some pretty famous statues too that are all around here, because it's got a fun guy who was a dentist named Dr. Fox, and he made these statues, and they're around. You're gonna see, this is one of the ones he made here, Claude Channa. He's a pretty cool guy. And so there we go. We're gonna be, and like I like to say all the time, we are on our way to Lake Tahoe, where we like to do videos, everything that's like, like I like to say, in, on, around, and sometimes under, over, all around Lake Tahoe, okay? So let's get going. Follow me. So just like I told you, here we are back in Auburn, and some of the more interesting things that you would only know about if you know about the mean back streets of Auburn, right? So this is an Amazon, she got the bow and she got the arrow, and that's one big bad arrow. And then we made a lot of fun ones over here. Here's another Amazon. Look at the size of that spear, huh? Check it out, man. Ooh-wee. That's a really dangerous spear. And people used to kind of dumb out, do some things. They would come out here at night, and then they would kind of vandalize these. They would take a hammer and hit certain parts of these sculptures. And now I'm going to take on you show here this one over here. This is an example of just flagrant vandalism. Surge Omicron he might think, some people think he's a bad guy because of the Flurona and the Corona, and not to mention Uncle Blackie's Black Blake. But here's one, you know, this guy, he's had a little bit of a problems, you know. People have not respected him. But looks like that's kind of stopped for now. Let's see if there's, I think there's some more of them over here. Here's another one. She's praying that nobody comes up and vandalizes her. And I don't think it's gonna happen today. It's not as long as Surge Omicron is here to protect you, you know, from some things. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, everybody will stay safe out there because we're gonna be doing a little more traveling and we'll see some more fun things for us, okay? Here he is, with his best friend, Surge Omicron. Okay, on the mean streets of Auburn, I'm gonna show you one more. It's an important historical spike that also features the work of Dr. Fox. Some of his fabulous sculptures right out here, okay? Yeah, we're in the gold country, okay? Let's go. Here's what I promised you. You know, back in the 1860s, then they were starting to build this railroad right here. This railroad went all the way from San Francisco to Omaha, Nebraska. But it didn't just happen overnight, of course. Yeah, you know, they needed a lot of guys to make this happen. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the Chinese laborers. You know, back in those days, I think there was about 20,000 of them came here to work on this very dangerous project, which couldn't have been done without them, because they knew how to handle the dynamite. Yeah, you know, the explosives. Those guys were experts at that, you know, because, you know, the Chinese, they invented stuff like gunpowder and things like that. So without those guys, we wouldn't have this wonderful railway. You know, it used to take 25 days in like a stagecoach. And if you were gonna go on, you know, on the wagon trains, you know, like those guys did, that took 6 months. But all of a sudden, when they started the train, it only took like, you know, 20 hours or so. You know, it was fantastic. People were loving it. It was the best time in the world because they could be mingling in the cars and going across the prairies and having a good time. So we're gonna get some more of that, but I hope you enjoyed this because we know we don't always have to be talking about the flu and the COVID and all that. Sometimes we get to enjoy just the good things that make this a wonderful world. Here. And don't forget, it's me, Surge Omicron! Hey, that's right, it's Surge Omicron, I'm back. You know, there's one thing a couple of things I'd like to talk about. You know, the Chinese were so important into the building of this railway. And you know why they had so many of those guys? Because they were the only guys that wanted to do the work. It was hard work. It was the hard rocks. And they had to, when they would blow these rocks up, they had to drill these holes and they had to do it by hand. And the two guys, one guy had a big steel thing and the other guy be whacking it. You know, that's dangerous. And then you're gonna put some dynamite in here. That's right. You know what can happen when that goes boom. Anyway, we are, I think it's time for us to go because, you know, sometimes, you know, Surge Omicron is a little bit on the run. We gotta get back to business. Okay?